What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be doing something that we have technically never done before. In the past, we have gone over various compilation lists or Reddit threads and read some crazy stories, talked about them, reacted to them in real time, but we've never reacted to the thread that we are doing today, which is the Reddit Am I the Ass thread. And I'm real excited to do it. This is something I've thought about doing for a long time, but never really just decided to try it out. So today is the day. January, as y'all know, is my month of unpredictability. That's what I have branded January 2021. So full on embracing it. Let's get into it. I'm going to read a few stories from this Reddit thread and give my opinions on them, and I want to hear your opinions in the comments down below as well. Going forward, I'm just gonna say AITA because I don't want to have to bleep out every time I say it, so just giving you a heads up. Alright, first story. AITA for not accepting my wife's reverse push present toward me. This, from what I understand, is not a super common thing from people that I know. I know, like, only a few people who have given birth in my life who have participated in this, but essentially it's when a person is pregnant and they give birth to a child, their partner will get them a push present, just kind of, I don't know, something nice. You spent the last presumably 9 months of your life going through some pretty intense things, so here's something nice for you to show you that I love you. So the text of this says, my wife, 26 female, and I, 28 male, have been together for 10 years and have 4 children. 1 male, 2 male, 3 male. Man, 3 kids a year apart. And they have 4 kids, so the other one's less than a year. Oh my gosh. And recently, our newborn son, 2 weeks ago. To give context, my wife is absolutely convinced that she is a burden to everyone around her. She is mainly like this due to her childhood. Her parents were extremely abusive. That's so sad. I've tried to get her into therapy in the past, but it never works. Her most recent pregnancy was difficult, so I had to help her with extra stuff, and as I expected, this inflamed her self-hatred even more. This morning, when I was eating breakfast, my wife said she had a surprise for me and showed me a gift she got for me, Ryzen Threadripper 397OX, and said sorry for, I don't know what that is, but sounds nice, and said sorry for being a burden toward me for 9 months. I responded that I don't need her present because she was never a burden to me, and that if she wants, I can help her install that CPU to her computer. Today I called my sister asking what she thinks about the situation. She was livid and said that I am ungrateful and should just suck it up and accept the gift. I know my sister does have a good point, but the whole concept of my wife's gift to me this morning was built on self-loathing. Me accepting the gift would be vilifying that mindset. AITA. Okay, so first of all, as far as the wife goes, unfortunately, I think this is a pretty common thing. You know, people who had abusive parents or were treated really badly as kids grow up thinking that they need to, like, prove their worth to others, which makes sense. You grow up in a house where you're told on a daily basis that you're unworthy, that you're a burden, that, you know, things would be better if you weren't here. And even if you're not explicitly told that, that's how you feel when your parents don't give you the love that you deserve for literally existing, for being their child. So in order to compensate for that, you spend a lot of your time proving to other people that you are worthy and wanting to make sure that they don't feel as if you're not, and they don't feel as if you are, you know, a negative thing in their life as opposed to a positive thing. So I totally understand why she would want to, especially if this was a difficult pregnancy for her, why she would want to give him a gift. As far as the husband goes, I understand him saying, like, I don't want to accept it because I think this is going to reinforce that behavior in her. If I send her a clear message of, no, I'm not accepting this gift, you're not a burden, she'll get it, but I really don't think that that's going to be an effective method of helping her out. I honestly don't think he's a butt for wanting to stop this behavior and try and help her self-esteem, but the way he went about it was totally wrong because she could feel like this is a rejection of her and this is a judgment on her, not like if he does not accept the gift. Maybe a good way to approach it would have been saying something really nice, like, thank you so much for this incredibly thoughtful gift. I really appreciate it, but I want you to know you were not a burden. You know, letting her know, like, this wasn't necessary. She didn't have to do this. You love her no matter what. But also thank you for thinking of me because this was an incredibly thoughtful thing for you to do. So that way you can help build her up and let her know that you appreciate what she did, but she doesn't have to do it because you love her anyway. Another thing I would say is, I don't know if they know each other's love languages, but this might be a good thing for them to figure out together. If his love language, like the way he receives love, isn't in giving gifts, but say hers is, he might just have to accept that her way of showing love, or at least one of her ways of showing love, is by buying gifts. And he might have to come to terms with that, even if that's not how he gives love and not how he receives it. If that's what makes her feel good, you want her to feel good and you want her to be able to do that. If it's out of guilt that she buys presents, different story. I don't think he's the butthole, but I definitely think he could have handled it better in a way that wouldn't have made her feel rejected, which is apparently what it seems like it did because he's posting on this thread. So let me know what you guys think down below. Moving on to the next story. AITA for threatening to call ACS on my brother and sister-in-law. What is ACS? I don't know what that is. I assume it's maybe like CPS. Okay, the Administration for Children's Services in New York City. Gotcha. Okay. So, yeah, it's like Child Protective Services, basically. Woof. I, 42 female, love children but do not have any because of health issues. My brother, 39 male, has an amazing daughter, Erie, 12 female. I am Erie's godmother and I take this role quite seriously. One of my love languages is gift giving. Since our birth, I told her parents that they should let me know if and when Erie needs anything. Almost every month, I get a list of items Erie needs and oblige. Right off the bat, that's a red flag. Why do they need something for her every month? Why do they need a list of things for her every month? I mean, if it makes this person happy to give gifts, that's great, but also you might be taking advantage of her niceness and her love for your daughter, brother. In any case. In addition, if I go to the store and see a cute outfit or jewelry that Erie might like, I buy it for her. We go to the hairdresser together, do spa days, and everything that I would do with my bio daughter if I had one. My partner and I have set up a college fund for her, and she's the sole beneficiary in my will. Pre-COVID, she spent most weekends with me. She has her own bedroom in my apartment. We are close. She trusts and always confides in me. Oh my gosh, that is like godmother of the year. Erie's birthday was in September last year. Her parents told me that Erie wants the new iPad Pro. This lady's got to be wealthy. So, hey, if it fits in her budget, it fits in her budget. I got it for her, but I believe when it comes to more expensive items, my brother and his wife should give it to her as a gift from them and not a gift from me. I got her a separate present, a beginner's makeup kit she told me she wanted with her parents' approval. Her parents and I recently decided to form a COVID bubble so that Erie can visit since we haven't seen each other for a while. She came over this weekend after settling in and asked to borrow my iPad for her homework. I asked her where her iPad was and she could not answer. I asked a few times and she finally admitted that her parents never gave her the iPad and she thinks her dad sold it. I began to realize that rarely did I see her in the clothes I've bought for her. Even when she was young, I got her an expensive bicycle and never saw her riding it. Erie admitted that her parents always sell most of her stuff and threatened to punish her if she told me about it. I confronted my brother and sister-in-law. They said it's their child and they choose how to raise her. I mean, true, but also rude. I believe this is akin to theft and their threats of punishment is neglectful. Erie is now refusing to go back home. Brother and sister-in-law are demanding that I bring her to their place. I've refused. This has turned into a huge argument. Sister-in-law is threatening to make a police report to accuse me of kidnapping, and I threaten to call ACS on them if they do not stop this. They are angry and calling me the butt. My extended family agrees with them. AITA. Wow. Okay, first of all, like, if that's if brother and sister-in-law are legitimately asking you for things and then selling them, that's absolutely disgusting. I can't imagine taking advantage of a family member like that. Secondly, it sucks, but that's their kid, and technically once you've given somebody something, it's a gift and they can do whatever they want with it. Now, I don't know if there's any like standing to the fact of like, well, I bought it because I thought it was going towards Erie and now it's not, so that's why I have a problem. I don't know if legally that holds any water in terms of theft, but honestly, the whole, Erie's refusing to go home, as long as whenever this person, the original poster, as long as whenever she sees Erie, she is clean, in good health, well taken care of, as long as she has the things that she needs, that's not neglect. You can't really call it neglect if they sell extra stuff. Obviously, we don't know the entire situation, but that's just kind of what I'm getting. Is she the butt? Is the poster the butt? Because I get being mad, but at the same time, this girl is 12. Like, your goddaughter, your niece, she's 12. She doesn't get to say, well, I want to live with my godmother now and this is where I'm staying. It is your responsibility as an adult to ensure that she goes home, to do what's going to be best for the kid. And I get that she like might be mad at her parents, but her parents have been doing this for a long time and now she really has a problem with it because she told you and she could probably see your reaction. And that's probably why she's refusing to go home. You got to send her home. After that, as far as the gifts go, I mean, that really sucks. That's terrible. I would be pissed if my brother and sister-in-law did something like that. Maybe you change the way you give presents to Erie, if she wants something that's more expensive and you want to make sure it doesn't get sold, you can say, hey, I got you this thing. It's over here. It's in your room at my apartment. Anytime you need it, come on over. Come on over. You can use it. It's yours. I just want to make sure it stays safe and doesn't get sold. So we're keeping it here. And then as far as if she needs clothes or stuff for school, talk to her about it. No more lists every month because that's automatically shady to me. But just communicate with her more directly because obviously her parents aren't being honest. So everybody sucks a little bit here. The brother and the wife are dead wrong, but in this immediate situation, you can't keep somebody else's kid. You just can't. All right, on to story number 3. AITA for rage quitting my friend that keeps going back to her toxic ex. We're both 17. I'm a guy. To get it out of the way, I don't like her romantically. I'm more into artsy 90s aesthetic type girls, if you know what I mean, but that's not the point. But I do care about her. My friend has an extremely toxic ex. Cheater, emotionally abusive, the whole 9 miles. Is that a phrase? I've always heard isn't like the whole 9 yards? 10 yards? I don't know. Regardless. She keeps going back to him for whatever reason, and this makes me facepalm. It's just stupid to me. The whole cycle. She says she misses him, gets back with him, gets hurt by him, rants to me about how much she hates him, says she's done with him, rinse and repeat. So today she told me she relapsed and texted him again. I told her, you know what, it's your decision if you want to talk to him again, but then you complain to me about how he hurts you. WTF. You need to own up to your actions, LOL. If he hurts you, that's on you. She left me on open for a while, then texted me that her decision wasn't logical, just purely emotional, but she couldn't control it. So I replied, LOL, okay, text him or don't text him. I don't care. I give up on you. She left me on open, but all her other friends are texting me, calling me TA. I don't think so. She's entitled to go back to her ex, and I'm entitled to tell her to F off when she does because she's being stupid and it's annoying. AITA. Okay, this one is obviously complicated. I understand the friend's frustration for sure in seeing your friend go through this cycle and then being the one who's there for them when they've gone back to something that they know hurts them and it turns out badly and then they're coming to you for comfort. Totally, completely understand the frustration. But you have to have empathy for the girl. It's hard to break a cycle of abuse, even if you know something's bad for you. Sometimes you just go back to it. That's why it's called a cycle of abuse, because you have to break the cycle and get away from the person. With that being said, though, the only person who's going to be able to break that cycle for the friend is her. And so she has to make the decision to break it, to do whatever it is that she needs to do. He says emotionally abusive, so it doesn't seem like there's physical abuse happening from what this person has said, which obviously makes it so much more dangerous for the person trying to get out. In this case, though, it's like, what, do you need to delete this guy from everything, block him from everything, block his number? She needs to figure out what she needs to do so she stops going back to him. And for the friend, I don't think there's a problem with setting a boundary of saying, I don't want to hear about this because this is something that you are continuing to engage in, behavior that you are doing, and it's not healthy. So I don't want to engage in comforting you when you've done something that you know is bad. The way that he has said it, though, like, you need to own up to your own actions, LOL. You shouldn't be speaking to a friend like that. Again, I get the frustration and you can be blunt with the person, but the way that he said it is just, it's not going to be received well. And obviously you're going to be perceived as the person who's wrong in this situation because of the way you handled it. There's a better way to set up your own boundaries and let your friend know that, like he said, you are your own person. Text him, don't text him, do whatever you want. However, I don't want to participate in this anymore, so please don't speak to me about this friend or about this boyfriend. You can set up your boundary, you can be blunt and you can be honest, but that doesn't seem like he's trying to help her. That just seems like his reaction because he was annoyed. So I can see why people would be upset with the way that he handled it. All right, time for the last story. AITA for picking my dog over my pregnant sister. First impression is probably not, because I can't even think about a situation in which, like a rational or logical situation in which you would need to make this decision. But who knows? Let's see. Disclaimer, throwaway, not in the USA. This happened about a week ago, but I'm getting a lot of crap from my family and friends, so I want an external opinion. Last year, my female 32 sister, female 28, was kicked out of her boyfriend's house and I took her in. We don't have the best relationship, but she was jobless and I was the only relative still living in our country. Surprise, surprise, about 2 months later, she figured out she was pregnant. That's such a tough situation to be in. One day she started to complain about my dog, a beautiful 2 years old half husky, and how it would be bad for her baby and that she wouldn't raise her kid with a wild animal around. My dog is a total sweetheart. I told her it was my house and if she was not comfortable here, she could leave and my dog was staying no matter what. She kept complaining, but I wouldn't change my mind. So far, totally fair. I don't know what to say other than it's your house. You can have your dog. If somebody who's staying with you is going to have a problem with the dog, they are free to move elsewhere, And I get that that sounds harsh, but again, this person is relying on you for something and it's your house. So if you want your dog and the dog's not causing a problem other than the sister just doesn't want the dog around, that's not your problem to deal with. You're already doing the sister a favor by letting her and assuming her baby eventually live with you. So it's harsh, but it's true. You know what I mean? About 2 weeks ago, I had to travel for work to a remote location for a few days. When I came back, my dog was not home, and my sister claimed she had no idea where it was. Total nightmare. Like, what? Did she let the dog out? We got into a fight because I didn't believe her. I ended up storming off and asked a few neighbors if they had seen it. One told me the last time he saw it was when my sister took him somewhere a few days ago. She uses my Uber account because she's broke, So when I found an odd trip to the other side of the city, I connected the dots. I drove all the way over there, and after asking around, I found my dog in a street restaurant. The owner took him after a blonde pregnant woman left him leashed to a fence. I ended up explaining the situation, paying him like $500, and I got my dog back. That's horrifying. I will never understand, like, total side note, actually not really, because it's connected to this. I will never understand people who just let dogs out. Just take them somewhere, kick them out of the car, and leave. I don't understand, like, what kind of person you have to be to think that that's an okay way to get rid of a dog that you no longer want. You don't want the dog? That's fine. You probably shouldn't keep it because you wouldn't treat it well anyway, but there are better ways to do this. When I went back home, I kicked out my sister. I gave her enough money for a week in a hotel and sent her on her merry way. She made a huge scandal, and I admit I was a bit too forceful, but I was furious. She called all my family and friends, and they're all telling me that I'm a butt for picking my dog over my sister and that I should take her back, that I should value that unborn baby more than a silly animal. I think my dog is more important, and what my sister did is unforgivable, but I'll accept your judgment. Okay. That's tough. I mean, I totally understand the reaction of kicking your sister out because you're so mad that she did this, because that's totally unacceptable to take someone else's dog and leash them to a fence to get rid of them because you don't want them around. I would take into account how pregnant she is. That might be something to consider if she is super close or if she has the ability to get to another country. I don't know what country they're in, but if she can easily travel to another country to stay with somebody else, can she do that? Can she not? Is she basically going to be homeless with a newborn? You do have to think about that. However, I understand not wanting your sister there, because who does that first and foremost? I can't imagine doing something like that, especially not to my sister who let me live with her after I got kicked out and I would have been homeless. But also, if she was willing to do that once, what's to say she wouldn't do it again? You would never feel comfortable leaving the house because you don't know if your sister's going to take your dog and give it away again, or not even give it away, tie it to a fence and leave it, abandon it. Oh, that's so tough. Honestly, I don't think the poster is a but, because you teach people how to treat you. So if you come home and you don't do something drastic, sister's gonna know that it really wasn't that big of a deal. Maybe I just leave the door open. Maybe I just push the dog outside and see what happens. You know, you are teaching her that behavior, while you might get mad, is not going to have a massive consequence for her. Also, though, I would be interested to know if this kind of behavior is out of character for sister. Sister is obviously going through a tough time. She got kicked out of her boyfriend's house. Don't know why, but that happened. Jobless, pregnant. Sister's going through it. I would, again, consider how close she is to giving birth and if she has family that she can stay with. Obviously, you're the only one in the country. How easy would it be for her to go to another country? Is it that she just doesn't want to go? She just likes the city that she lives in now. She likes the country she lives in now, and she doesn't want to leave. And that's why she's not gone to stay with somebody else who might be, I don't know, more accommodating to what she would like. Or is it something where it would be really hard for her to go to another country? Honestly, I wouldn't let her back in right away. I know that sounds bad, but she's an adult who's responsible for her own actions. So I would try to have a conversation with her in a neutral environment, meet at like a coffee shop or something, and have a conversation about why she did that, why she thought it was okay. Does she feel remorseful for it now or not? And go over what her options are. What's her plan? If she's sorry and she wants to stay with you, you got to set up some kind of agreement, you know, a promise, obviously, that she will never do that again, and the understanding that if something like this happens again, you will immediately need to leave. If something like this happens, you will have to go and you will not be welcome back. And additionally, I would set up a date that she has to move out by. If you like living with your sister in general, and this is just a weird thing that's totally out of character, a fluke, she's not usually like this, whatever it may be. If you like living with your sister, maybe you don't need to do this if you don't mind her and the baby staying with you. But if it is causing a problem for you and you feel like, you know, I just want to live my life, I shouldn't have to be accommodating to you and putting you and your kid up, maybe set up a date so she knows that this isn't just an extended stay. Again, this is tricky. It depends on a lot of what ifs, but that initial knee-jerk reaction, I don't think you're a butt. All right, so that was our last story. Lots to talk about, lots to think about. I look forward to hearing what your opinions are in the comments down below, so feel free to leave those down there. Additionally, if you have a story like this or any sort of situation that you are looking for advice on, feel free to email it to me at hihoneyyt@gmail.com, and I will read your story on the channel, and we can all as a collective give you some advice and help you out. So again, that is hihoneyyt@gmail.com. Feel free to send your stories over there. And with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Please consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel if you want to see more content like this. And if you are subscribed already, thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.